Well, hi there. Welcome to another week and another Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
I'm Candice.
And I'm Rikki.
Ladies, it is, as always, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for holding down the fort while I was off doing work things last week.
Of course. Look,
course.
I mean, we figured we'd give you a week off. Don't do it again, okay? We only give you so many in a year.
So I was on this. I was out of town. I posted in the Real WW Talk group that I went to New Orleans. It was a work trip. I'm a part of this board, and so they work hard and play hard. So I won't talk about the work part of it, but the play hard part. The first night that we got there, we went out to dinner as a team, and we went to one of Emeril Lagasse's restaurants.
Ooh.
It also happened to be the night that Beyonce was in town. I have never seen so much silver and sequins in my life. I felt so underdressed.
Those fans are serious. Like
They
it is
are.
like a production for people when they go to those Beyonce concerts.
They do.
I'm just glad that you didn't get caught up in the crowd and
Right.
get lost. You know,
Oh, it was hard. It was hard. But I want to tell you one of the best thing that I ate at the restaurant. It's called Merrill, Meril, and I don't know why it took me so long to realize that was like Emeril's name just without the E.
huh?
Yeah.
I would not have caught on to that.
They had one of the small plates or appetizers that they had were these roasted carrots over this sauce that was made out of tahini.
Wow.
It was incredible and was one of those dishes I'm still dreaming about and wanting to recreate for myself, but it made me remember how delicious roasted carrots are, because you guys know, like I do that for like Thanksgiving dinners, but like the whole roasted carrots, oh, it was so good.
Are you saying that they are eclipsing vacation carrots? Like,
Yeah,
whoa,
hands down.
this
They
is like a
eclipsed vacation carrots.
alert the
We're in a
media.
new era.
I know, seriously. And speaking of, though, for the trip, I did take a big bag that I actually took a fruit store with me because I couldn't find my vacation carrots. And if you're new to the podcast, vacation carrots are simply carrots that are crinkle cut and they're cut on the bias. But I don't eat them like regular. I eat baby carrots regular. When I go away on vacations or trips, I like to make my carrots more fun. And I call them vacation carrots. So
it's a thing now. And anybody who goes anywhere and they listen to Real WW Talk, they make sure they bring their vacation carrots.
like, I got some vacation carrots. So I couldn't find him, but I took apples and I took some bananas and I took a whole bunch of grapes. And so I'm like, somebody said they were hungry. I'm like, what would you like?
You're like that grandmother that my grandmother does that. She always has like this big bag of food whenever we go somewhere. So when we want to go and eat out, we're like, oh, we don't have any food. She's like, hold on, baby. That's right. Right in a little thing. And you're like, eat what we grandma. I wanted McDonald's. I don't want your turkey sandwich. But that's fine.
So what did y'all do last week? How's your week's been?
Rikki, I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think too. It clearly wasn't that eventful.
Yeah.
I mean, we did kind of start our step bet this week.
Oh, that big thing. Is this what we are talking about?
We're in the warm-up week for step bet.
Yes.
So.
I am so honestly, I'll tell you, I am super pumped. As everyone knows, I love a step bet. So the moment that October 1st hit and like we could get going, I've been marching in place. I've been doing all the things because even though it's a warm-up week, I try to make it like a week that I hit my steps and do the things just to see how I feel. Because, you know, you can go from a time where you haven't been walking for a while.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that is a big thing. And I have noticed that I am increasing and intentionally moving more. And I've been so excited to see the posts from people in our group who feel the same way. It's been awesome.
They've been incredible. It's been great to see that. And I've been, trying to get my steps every day. And I feel the same way, Candice. I'm like, I feel like I'm cheating if I don't try this first week, even though we have the ability to just, not meet our step goals. It feels good to meet them. And there's a purpose behind it. It's not just to win the money. It really is for a more active lifestyle. So I have been making my targets every day. Today's going to be a little bit harder because I saved my stretch days for the end of the week, but I really want to have a day off tomorrow. So I'm going to keep going today.
Good. Look at you.
And
Now,
I think,
guys, let me ask you something, because we're so jazzed and everybody's so jazzed about the step bet. That's the thing that I love about it, right? It's such great motivation. And it's like we have these really clear goals. We've got this, 6-week time frame. Now, if we were to parlay that into our WW journey, we know 40 weeks at $25 a month or $40 or whatever it is that you're, oh, I hit my microphone, sorry. Whatever it is that you would pay for it. It's very clear every day how many points we get to use, right? Why don't we have that same excitement about WW that we do over the step bet? And I realize I'm projecting that you guys don't feel that same way like I do, but I'm feeling that. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, oh, I gotta track. Meanwhile, I'm like, I can't wait to watch that little wheel go around and say, you did it.
what if we are onto something, Erin? What if we could take money from someone who doesn't count their points? Like if they were able to, my goodness, listen here. I'd like to trademark it. Ding, ding, ding. Okay.
Yes,
This is a real WW Talk trade. If we could do it where it's like, oh, if you have to sign up, and if with your sign up for Weight Watchers, if you do not track your points at least 5 out of the 7 days, then you have to forfeit your membership money to the other members who do. I bet you all of us. Oh,
it would be on.
Totally.
I mean, see, the difference is we get our money back at the end of the step bet, right? If we adhere to all of our things, we don't get that with WW.
I'm just saying that's what I think the thing is, though. It's that
you don't want to give up your money.
You don't want to give up your money to other people.
We're on to something.
WW, we just locked into something for you.
You're welcome.
Seema Sistani. We're not going to Oprah anymore. We're going to Seema.
All us. Y'all are talking about the OG weight loss brand. We are OG here. We know what gets people going.
Oh my
But seriously,
goodness.
I think that's what it is. I think that there's something to the fact that you can positively, you can do something to affect hitting your goals. Like it's not like, to me, like what they have with Diet Bet, which I told you I don't like, which is that you have to lose a certain amount of weight each week. I don't like that.
Because that encourages like unsafe and unhealthy behaviors to get to it so you don't lose your money.
The only unsafe and unhealthy behavior here is get up off your hiney and maybe walk while watching TV.
Right.
Just get a little more active. That's completely in your control how you want to do that activity.
Yep.
I'm just putting that out there. I don't know. I've been deep thinking about that. Anyway, well, guys, we had this really incredible comment within our Real WW Talk Facebook group, which anybody is welcome to join. Just search Real WW Talk on Facebook. I'm not going to read her name because I do want to give her some anonymity here. But she says, I'm hoping that I'm not crazy and someone else has experienced this. I joined WW in June, weighing 246 pounds, and currently I am down to 209, which is great. Since June?
Yeah.
July,
that's incredible.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's not just good. That's great.
Yeah, that is laser focus.
Yes,
wow.
Yes.
She said, I had to go shopping yesterday because my clothes were too big and I dropped from a size 20 to a size 16, which is fantastic. Yeah, girl, way to go. The problem is I feel like an imposter because I'm shopping in the regular sizes and not in the plus size section. I keep waiting for someone to say something to me. I am by no means writing this to brag. I just truly am having a really hard time coming to terms with size change. I understand that. I mean, that's a pretty drastic, a very drastic change. That's very, very quick. And sometimes our brains need more time to catch up with what's happening on the outside. I mean, that's a major change. What do you guys think about that and the imposter syndrome? Have you experienced that? Do you remember experiencing that?
Yeah, I remember that when I first lost the biggest chunk I've lost with Weight Watchers, which was 50 pounds. I remember feeling really just strange going into certain stores that I wasn't able to go into before. But there was also a weird part of it too, of like, I'm going into these stores that I couldn't go into before, but the biggest size maybe doesn't quite fit me the way I want it to, or, still feeling a little bit of frustration because like I'm here in this store that technically fits me now, but I still feel like I'm in between, and it's like, where do I belong in this big range of sizes? Because there's some stores like the plus size stores are wonderful, but when you're kind of in between sizes, like 16 is a great example. I remember being that size and feeling like that was a really small size for a store like Lane Bryant, and it was sometimes if you were on the lower end of a 16, and depending on how your body is shaped, it may be harder to even find something in their smaller range. And feeling like, well, where do I belong? I completely relate to that.
Yeah. And me, out of just for my own vanity's sake, I used to do, when I was that size, I would go to Lane Bryant just for them to tell me that it doesn't fit, or that I'd be like, tell me, you just think it's too big? Like you think I don't belong here? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, you think I need to go to a regular store? I don't know. And I'm sure that they thought I was trying to like, but there's something about hearing it. Part of it was I really didn't believe it.
Can I say I have an image of you like yelling that in the middle of the mall as you're leaving?
Tell me more. You think that this is too big on me?
I'm too small for this store.
I'm too small for this plus size store. Like,
I guess I'll have to go to Macy's and shop in Macy's now.
Woe to me. What should I do? Like, that's like, but there was another part though where someone did have to tell me, and I in a non-joking way, I really did do it.
I do love our anonymous poster too. She's like, I'm not doing this to brag, and Candice is like, 100% I am here to brag.
Say it louder for the people in the back, but
I can't believe that we've never heard that story, by the way.
Really good. You just know my personality. It probably didn't have, they were like, it's too big. Yes. Like, get out of here. And I'm like, fine. But I think that when it takes time, the challenge for me is that I'm always looking for, like, I've spent more time in a larger body than I have in a smaller one. So unfortunately, my comfort has been in my bigger body, not because I'm comfortable and I want to stay here, but it's just been it's what I know. It's my identity. And I think sometimes I've worked hard to self-sabotage to get back there just so that I could feel like the feelings that I knew. And that's what was new for me. And that's why, Erin, your point is so well taken, that it takes time for your mind to catch up with the physical changes. Because even if you actually do see it, I think there's a part that is happy, but also kind of afraid of what that could mean, or what is that, or what's expected of me in this new space. Because and that's what I think I was fighting against. So,
which are all projections on things that don't exist.
Right. Yeah. And that's what's hard, is that, you're projecting it as a way to protect yourself. Like it's really about self-preservation and protection. It's like, I know how the world reacts to me larger. I know. I don't really know, or don't know.
Yeah.
In a smaller body.
Yeah, because I know, Rikki, that's something that you struggled with, was that transition when you were smaller, right? We've talked about that a couple times, and how that made you feel.
That was really hard. People's reactions, as wonderful as it was, I felt like I was getting more attention and from different people. So from friends from the opposite sex. And that was a whole nother thing that like was almost scary sometimes if it happened when I was at a metro station and I didn't want to talk to somebody, so I think I wasn't prepared for that. Not to say that people can't be, catcalling you when you are plus size, but, I got to a point where I had lost a significant amount of weight and I looked different, and just getting used to people commenting on it, but also just the amount of attention that came from it. I feel like I did kind of hide. I gained that weight back, and I feel like I could psychoanalyze myself and say there's a layer of that. There's a lot of reasons why I gained it back and then some, but I think some of it did have to do with me not processing just getting attention to the point where me as an introvert was just, I wanted to recoil, and that was hard.
I think that we've also kind of assume that all attention is good attention. Like, we want I had this vision when I was going to lose weight that I was going to enjoy, like you said, everybody going, look at that outfit, girl. Let me see you twirl around. Like, you lost so much weight, but I don't know if I enjoyed, like I said, the spotlight on me all the time. And that sounds kind of like what the poster said. It's not a bragging thing. Like, oh my gosh, I lost so much weight. Stop looking at me. Like, but it really is like, I'm used to sometimes when you're bigger, you can kind of fade into the room, ironically, like no one's focused on you as much. We tend to wear muted colors, a lot of the blacks and the grays, and we're over here. And that's a way of saying, just don't put attention on me. And when you do lose weight, having to deal with all of that changing, because people can be very vocal and it can be uncomfortable. So
and part of what I think people are responding to is your confidence. When we do start losing weight, there are a couple things that happen along with that are just a part of, in order to lose weight, you have to be this way. And that is the discipline that goes along with it. And a lot of the structure, I mean, that exudes confidence, that exudes, a surety with people, and people respond to that. And so I think that's also a lot of what people are responding to in those moments, but we don't know, because again, that's new for us, that we would be giving that off, because we see ourselves and have seen ourselves for so long. Exactly what you said, Candice, is the person who's hiding and fading into the background. And, fat phobia is a real thing. The name exists for a reason. I've shared before my examples of walking through the mall, and when I was at my max weight, nobody would stop to put the creams and things on my hand, but I lost my 50 pounds, and they're like, come pretty lady, come pretty lady. And I'm like, I don't think so, because you didn't like me 50 pounds ago.
I'm going to remember that.
I don't want your cream and sugar. No,
I don't want your cream and sugar. I don't want nothing from you.
No, thanks.
Sayonara.
I wish I could find it. I'm like actively trying to look for it now, because I tried to save it in my notes, but after a certain amount of time, articles go away. But I think I shared before, there was this amazing article that Weight Watchers had back when they were Weight Watchers, before they changed WW and are now Weight Watchers again, but that. But it was an article about like what to expect after you lose a significant amount of weight. And it had all these great tips. And one of them was prepare for people to comment, prepare for that. And I think it was kind of an emotional setup for just prepare yourself that you might be getting more attention than you did before. People might be bringing, and it's in places where, maybe you're at work and you didn't want everyone in the staff meeting to be drawing attention to, even though they may have noticed it. They're now all looking at you and staring in class. I don't know if that has things like that actually happen, but there's lots of different opportunities where people could, put the spotlight on you. And for some people that can be kind of painful if you're just a very shy person. But another thing the article said was, prepare to be cold. You might be cold a lot of times when you had a little more insulation before. And Candice, I know that's a blessing to you, but some people don't like to be cold.
Give me all of the coldness in the world, especially on planes. Thank you.
Yes, if I can somehow find that archive, of that article, I will share it with the community. But I think it had a lot of really good tips about that, and just ways to prepare yourself for that change.
Rikki, I thought you were going to blame it on the fact that you closed out the tabs. I thought you were going to be like, well, if I had my tabs open, then I would have been able to
from like 10 years ago.
Erin and Candice made me close all my tabs. I can't find anything.
I can't, because of some people. I probably should have used that opportunity to be passive aggressive.
I was waiting.
I've grown.
You being all right.
But it's still there, because I saw a flash on your face.
I did. That's why I thought she was like, I wish I could find it.
Right. I actually wasn't being passive aggressive, but I could be. I have a reason to be,
Yes, you can blame us.
You just hold it, put that in your back pocket until you really need it, Rikki.
But what it made me think about too, though, was with the girl when, with the poster and what she said. I was thinking about the fact that when you don't recognize yourself, like it's not even
Yeah.
about when other people, when you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't know who that is. Like, I
Right.
don't know you.
Right.
That can be very fear. Like there's a fear for me. There can be, it can be anxiety producing to be like, how do I find out who this person is, what their likes and dislikes are? Am I connected? Do I know how to keep this person here? And that process of allowing myself to get to know the new person, also with other people getting to know that person, is something that I think can be acknowledged as well as a difficulty. It can be done, but it's internal and external.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point because again, when you're losing this amount of weight, there are a lot of things that change along with it. You know, we've talked before, it's like you're shedding these parts of yourself. Along with it, you're shedding these parts of your mentality that have been kind of keeping you locked down for a long time. So it's not just about the weight. It's not just about the size. And as you go through this, trying to handle other people when you can't even handle your own thoughts right now, you're trying to process through your thoughts, can feel very burdensome. And so part of that is now just prioritizing those thoughts. And what I love, my friend Jabo, she says, I don't have pockets for that right now. And it's not taking it and put it in and holding on to it. Just thank you very much. And then letting it go. But part of it is, and it's not a negative thing to not know yourself. You're actually creating the new and also probably dreams are coming true at this moment, right? Things that you've always wanted to be able to do, you can now. And so even that can feel, even though it's a new thing and a great thing, even that could have a little bit of trepidation with it. But it's learning how to come to this new body with, open hands and an open mind of, I'm not who I once was. This is what I'm creating for myself now. And I can step into this freely and wholly.
And I was looking for it. There's a book that was written that I absolutely love that kind of discusses this in a general way, but it's called Addicted to Unhappiness. And free yourself from moods and behaviors that undermine your happiness and what to do about it, undermine relationships, work, and your health. I think it's such a fantastic thought to kind of really mull over in your mind about, am I addicted to the negative parts of my life? Because as much as we may verbalize that we want good things and we want things to happen, that really is the time that most people can't accept the good. And they're like, and I think I always kind of relate it back recently to my cancer. I found out recently that I continue to be cancer free, and that's wonderful. But my mind immediately went to, but let's see in 6 months. Like you can't even appreciate the moment because you're now trying to find the new thing to worry about. And I think that is an unfortunate part of the human condition, that we are just Marianne Williamson. It's our light, not our darkness, that scares us. It's the good that makes us most afraid. And that's a whole process that sometimes it takes therapy, to kind of help you kind of get through that and say, what can I do to just be present in this moment now? And to say, for now, I have lost the weight. I am cancer free. I am good. And it's okay.
I think that's a really good point. And I think too, a lot of times we try to put our identity in that. And if we're tying our identity to our weight and we're losing our weight, we're going to feel like a different person. But if we're learning, as we go through the process, we've talked about the hardest part to lose is, in here in our brains, the stubbornness or the behaviors that are all there. And if we're untying our emotions and our thoughts and our identity from our weight, when we get to our desired weight, it's not about the weight anymore. It's I'm healthy. I was healthy when I started losing the weight because I was walking every day, or I was doing step bets, or I was eating my vegetables, and I'm healthy now. And because I think a lot of times I'm so guilty of this. I think all my problems will be solved when I lose weight. I just think when I'm skinny, this will be easy, or that'll be easy. And that's a reality that is not going to be helpful either. When I get to that point of getting to my goal weight, if my whole process and like thought process was about how things are going to be different and nothing's different, then why am I going to stay at that weight?
Right. Well, and the thing that we have to remind ourselves is that we will be different, right? Because that part of that is like, what am I changing internally as I get along there? Because, everything that was posted to us in the weight loss years that we grew up in, it was, life is better when you're skinny, things are better. And, you internalize that message in this very superficial way. I'm really glad that the conversation has changed so significantly around weight and weight loss to put it around health. But I think, I forget which the two of you said it, but like having our identity and losing weight, like that can become our identity, but that's not our identity. When you spend so much time with something and thinking about it, you start to think that's what you are, but that's not what you are. That's just something that you're doing. And I think that's a really important thing for us to remember, that our weight and that the weight loss journey is not actually our identity. It's just part of something that we're doing for ourselves that will hopefully enhance what is already our identity as a kind person, a loving person, and having good health allows us to be more of who we are and do the things that we're created to do. They're just not a hindrance to us.
We wear many hats, and that's just one of them. It's like, this is not the whole kit and caboodle shebang of who Candice, Erin, and Rikki are. But I think that it is hard to disconnect that when that has been for a long time, most of our adult lives, all of my adult life, the struggle. And to, like you said, to take that off and say, yeah, that's a thing, but that's not who I am. That's not who I am,
Yeah. I love it. Ladies, this is a great conversation. Thank you for it. I want to, before we jump off, I do want to highlight a couple members in our Real WW Talk Facebook group. Karen, she wrote and said that she had a non-scale victory. She says, I realize I'm walking around at work holding up my pants.
Love it.
It's amazing. Don't cause any HR violations, Karen.
Karen, take my cue. Just be like, are you saying they're too big? I need to go home and change.
Go home? What? Julie said, last Friday, my husband brought me home a whoopie pie. That is my kryptonite. And I still have a quarter of it left after 5 days.
Wow.
In a normal day, I would have eaten the whole thing in one sitting, but instead I cut it into quarters and ate one and put the others in a sandwich bag to enjoy little by little.
You deserve all the Bravo stars in the world.
That is amazing.
Julie,
pies in portioned what?
Like, I've never portioned a whoopie pie out in my life.
And I've never had one, and I still can't believe it.
Now, I've got a good recipe for a pumpkin maple whoopie pie.
Well, then we're going to Erin's house. We can sample it. I will try that.
Maybe I'll make mini ones so we don't have to portion it out.
Okay, that works for me.
Notice how we all agree that this is something we would do.
Yes.
Is this an all hands in?
Hands
is that
in,
what we're doing?
Because Erin's cooking again. We're just gonna sample.
All right. And then finally, Denise, she said, I am so grateful for the motivation that is provided from joining the Step Bet. Normally in the mornings, I would just relax in bed for an extra 10 minutes and scroll on my phone to check my Facebook. Well, this morning I got up and I got on my treadmill for 15 minutes while doing my morning scrolling. I feel more alert. I got in a few steps before the day starts, and I feel more motivated going into the rest of the day. Initially, I was dreading the idea of doing it, but I am really pleasantly surprised at how good I feel after completing it. It's not a long walk, but it definitely makes a difference in my mood, which I wasn't expecting.
I mean, take that caveat. It's not a long walk out of there. Just, I mean, that's amazing. Just
Amazing.
so
But
proud of that.
I think where she's going with that is, you know, it was just 10 minutes, or in this case, it was 15 minutes, where instead of laying in bed, and Rikki, to your point about just like take the caveat off, because we think it's a walk has to be 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour, you know, 10 minutes on the treadmill, hop on for a couple minutes, or, you know, 15 like that. I love that. I think that's one of the things that I love seeing from so many people are like, I've got more energy than I thought that I was going to have.
I can do a lot more than I thought I could. And what I'm taking from that. And I love it.
Yes, I love it. So listen, even if you don't make it in to join our step bet,
you have a few more hours.
Got a few more hours to join in. But if by chance you miss it, just maybe set some daily step goals with us and drop into the Facebook group for some accountability. We have some folks who are doing that because of their own, you know, maybe mobility. They can't maybe quite do the walking, but they're setting their own challenge and reporting in. So you can do what works best for you. And we're here to cheer you on. So we love it. Find us in the Real WW Talk Facebook group. We are also on Instagram. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on the podcast, wherever. Just search Real WW Talk, boop, 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 and we will rise to the top for you. So there it is. All right. Have a great week on plan, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.